Hello everybody, this is Toru from Bitcoin Geekend. It is 19th February 2018. It's been a while. I created a video last time, so I just wanted to catch up a little bit. And yes, we are looking at Bitcoin prices coming back up, which is very happy thing. So I just want to share some of my ideas, and I would say that probably within a week, Bitcoin will hit somewhere around 4050, which is $4,000.50. That's very feasible. So I just want to give a little bit of the background. Right, so the chart I'm looking at right now is this is the Coinbase Bitcoin in US dollar price chart, and well, I recently really thinking about one of the key feature or one of the benefits that we need to think about is to identify what is a break-even point for the miners to mine the Bitcoin. Simply because if the miner if they pay more than $4,000 per Bitcoin, they will not gonna sell Bitcoin under $4,000. And if their original cost is somewhere around $3,500, they can sell their Bitcoin just above 3,500. And as of now, what we need to think about is Bitcoin have got a sort of setting pressure all day coming along, which is every 10 minutes, Bitcoin comes out somewhere around 12.7 BTC as of now, including a transaction fees, everything. So this, every 10 minutes, we are seeing very new, freshly mined 12.7 Bitcoin, and we have 1440 minute per day. So that means every day we are looking at 144 blocks is coming out. So if we just simply, multiple these things, it's somewhere around 1900 Bitcoin, which is pretty big, isn't it? It's pretty much a $7 million or somewhere around. And it's so every day somehow market needs to digest this $7 million, in other words, 1900 Bitcoins on the markets, which miner every day mines from the mining activities, right? So identifying the break-even point for the miners is pretty important thing. And of course, there are hundreds of miners, including bigger ones, like a smaller one, of course. So it's not there's no single point of the exact point. But however, this is my rough estimate of their break-even point of the mining activities. So it was somewhere around 3750 at the break-even point, and as of now, which is $38.70, which is very current situation. However, we have a 5 days to go just 5 days remaining for the next coming a difficulty adjustment, and when the new difficulty comes in, well, probably I would assume the mining break-even point will goes up somewhere around 40-50. And so that's probably, the market is starting to factor in as of now, because market tried to react before people moves. So that's the price is inching up. And the other thing is one of the features of this trading market is we need to think about a positioning, who bought what amount of Bitcoin at what X price. So and the thing is, people sometimes makes mistake, including myself. We might sometimes buy on the top and sell on the bottom. So we just need to find out when people really purchase at the wrong price. That means we can predict when the price comes back up to that location, the price will start to react. And as of now, as I'm looking at a COT report, which comes out of CFTC every Saturday, and as of now, probably December 24, this was looking at, if we look at the top 4 players of the market, they bought Bitcoin the most recently. What's going to happen is if people bought like crazy at this time, and what's going to happen is if the downtrend after that downtrend started, so a lot of people having a negative account balance based on this price, which is somewhere around 40.26. So if you just imagine, if you have got long position at 40.30, say for example, and market just shrink down to 3,300, and you're gonna spend all day long for like, oh god, what's gonna happen if this this crazy position goes to zero, or everybody's having a little hard time for passing the time during having a negative balance. And what's gonna happen when the market comes back up to this original position? Usually people, dump their positions, right? They're not gonna want to carry their negative balance anymore if the balance comes back up to zero. Oh, they're happy. They just offload their positions, which means they're gonna place a sell order at the market, and that sort of positions turns into sell pressure. And as of now, this December 24 date has got a biggest, the buying positions was really there. So probably, and the price is coming back up to, if the price comes back to that level, which is a 40.26, 25, 26, I would say price needs to retrace a little bit. At the same time, the 40.50 is somewhere around the minus, regular mining cost. So that means miner can put their selling orders on the order book just about 40.50, or like they can sell, if the miner is bearish for the future view, they can just place a selling a contract at 40.50, 40.60, somewhere around as a future contract, so that they can sell their freshly mined Bitcoin down the road. So we're gonna see a pretty big amount of selling pressure at 40.50 based on miners and speculators positions, remaining positions. And probably the biggest technical indicator that people use on the entire planet is probably the moving average, right? And if this is a moving average parameter, it's somewhere around flat, more people comes into taking a look at it. So I just draw the 100-day moving average. I would say SMA, that's a simple moving average, which is a very simple moving average, literally. So this is something people always look at it. And if you look back 2017 or 2016, you don't really need to think about much for buying a Bitcoin. When the price goes up, and you just wait until Bitcoin price comes back down to 100 days moving average, and price start to jumps up again and comes back to 100 moving average, and backs up and comes back to 100 moving average. Not exactly this time, but that was a 100-day moving average. And after the 2018 January, really Bitcoin couldn't beat this 100-day moving average. They could, sometimes goes up a lot for a while, maybe a week or something, but eventually they comes down. So this is something people are looking at. And so if we looking at a current situation, yes, this 100-day moving average is just hitting the head of Bitcoin candle. So that is exactly 38.70, which is the miner's break-even point as of today. However, the price is a little bit inching up again. And I would say this 40.50 is something that market is trying to factor in for their future movement. And here's an interesting thing. As of today, the driving force of the market is Ethereum. And Ethereum is the leading indicator of Bitcoin as of today. It's not always. It could be wrong sometimes, but as of today, Ethereum is the leading indicator of Bitcoin, really. So if you, this is the chart that's showing this is the Bitcoin, and this is the Ethereum. So that was pretty interesting. So that was back to somewhere around 17 February. So let me just draw this little horizontal line. Okay, so something around that. So all right, so Bitcoin made a first spike, and after that Bitcoin couldn't exceed this horizontal line, which is somewhere around 37.50. And I just draw the similar line at Ethereum. And if you just can if we just look at this horizontal simple line, what's gonna happen is Ethereum broke up this horizontal line before this Bitcoin breakout really occurred. So which is there is a time difference between these two events, and that was something around 13 hours difference. So if you look at if you are looking at a Ethereum, not only for the Bitcoin and Ethereum start to break up. So as of now, we can say that Ethereum is really driving up the Bitcoin price. And why the Ethereum price is so spiking right now is this is the hard fork is coming up, and their hard fork comes into play at 28 February 2019, so which is somewhere around 9 days from today. So I would say usually, hard fork happens, the price peak comes before the hard fork itself. So I would say maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 days before the hard fork, Ethereum may be hitting the highest high of the recent price. And what their possibility is, of course, nobody knows the exact price of the Ethereum that can reach. However, this may be a good indication that Ethereum, they tried to do the hard fork around January 5th. However, they couldn't do that simply because there was a glitch within their code. So they just postponed this new coming Constantinople and hard fork. So now they are ready. So they're gonna implement their hard fork at this coming February 9 days from this point. So what's gonna happen is probably, at least with this very positive current situations, Ethereum could reaches up to this level, which is 0.041 level, I would say, and which is they still have got a pretty big room. They have got more like a 0.003, which is maybe 9% or something, right? Yeah, 940%. So I would say if the Bitcoin goes somewhere around 10%, that's too much optimistic. But at least if the Ethereum could goes up to 9%, Bitcoin maybe possibly goes up somewhere around maybe 9%. That's too much. Maybe 6%, 7%, right? Yeah. So it's gonna be 4169 or 4170. That's probably the very feasible target of the Bitcoin of this week range, I would say. So of course, the Bitcoin is just hitting this 100 days moving average, and of course we are seeing very short-term indicator. It's showing this is coming to a very too much buying, and buying positions coming too much. However, there still Ethereum is driving the market right now, and they still have got an upper room a little bit more. So I would assume that within this week or something, probably Bitcoin will hit somewhere around maybe 4050 or 4100. Again, this is Coinbase price. And the other clue that I'm looking at is the Kimchi premium. This is the price difference between US dollars Bitcoin and Korean won Bitcoin price. So if this price goes down, that means Korean won is based Bitcoin is cheaper than US dollar based. So if you just look back the history, when the Korean premium is very low or like a discounted, that's usually the bottom of the market, and like this one, right? So if Korea's market is buying, it's usually it's a little bit different of the time frame, but it's pretty much similar. So if, of course, sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes the price peaks at their bottom. So we can't say it's always working. However, it's recently it's still if the Korean price is low, Bitcoin price is pretty much low, and right now, well, their price is pretty low. And I have learned that their tax code is a little bit changed, so they might be having a little pessimistic perspective for the Bitcoin. That could be the reason why Korean won based Bitcoin is a little bit cheaper. However, if statistically looking back the history, that's if the Korean won based Bitcoin is cheaper, that's pretty much the bottom of the Bitcoin. So we are hitting the pretty much a $4,000 of the Bitcoin pretty soon. However, well, this is the Bitfinex, so it's the price is a little bit different, but I'd say that we still have got a pretty good room for the Bitcoin to goes up a little bit more, and that backs this 40-50, just a wild guess, but I think that is a very feasible target for this 7-day period of sort of ideas. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you just can give me the comments that how you felt about the price predictions, or well, I could be wrong, I could be right, who knows. So I'm open to all the opinions. So if you just can leave the comment, or just hi or something, or whatever it may be, just if you just can leave the comment to the YouTube video, that's gonna be great. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a good night. Bye bye.